So here we are on the Explore California mission page, and there's an advocacy section here. So Explore California has decided that they're going to take up the cause of a particular Senate bill, here referred to as Senate Bill XYZ-ABC. So they want to get the word out, and they want people to write to their representatives, and so they're offering this little app to let people put in their zip code and find out who their senators are. This is a great example where being able to call out to an external API, get some data on who their senators are, and bring it back into our own page without having to send them elsewhere is useful. So we're going to lay the groundwork first, and then actually hook up the data a little later. So we have a zip code field, we have a button, and then we have a place to put the results once they're found. Let's take a look at those in the file. Here it is. If we scroll down just a little bit, we can see here's the form. So we just have the zip code field, and it is marked as required using the HTML5 required attribute, then the submit button and the place where we're going to insert our results. So we know we're going to need this in our jQuery. So we'll copy that and jump down here to the code. So I've started you off with an event listener for the submit event on this form. So now when you submit the form, nothing's going to happen. But we're going to get ready for when we have actual data. So we know we're going to need the results area selected by ID. So we'll save that in a variable. And we also know that we're going to need the zip code. So we'll save the value of the zip code. And I won't precede that with a $sign because it's not actually a jQuery selection. I'm just going to store a regular value. So what we're going to need is this, which we'll select by ID. Okay, we're going to assume that down here we're going to collect the data. And then after we have it, we're going to update this with the results. And we'll use the HTML method to place in a block of HTML. For now, we'll just put in your senators for, and then we'll concatenate on the value of that zip code that they entered. Your senators are, now there's no data yet, but this is enough to start prototyping. Let's look at it in the browser here. I'll reload, type in some zip code. And there we go. So we're starting to see some interactivity, and building things up this way, even when you don't have data, is useful to make sure that you're starting to get yourself on the right track. But before we'll have actual data, we need to look at the API over at the Sunlight Foundation. So here we are at sunlightfoundation.com/API. Now, as with any third-party service, this could move around, but this is where it is right now. And looking on this page, I can see there are quite a lot of things that I can find out about. Pretty cool. The one that we're going to be using is the Congress API. And as with many external services, you're going to need to get a key that authenticates you against the service and lets them know if you happen to be coming close to usage limits. The Sunlight API does not, as far as I know, have any usage limits. It's just to track you and make sure that there's not abuse happening, or in case they need to notify you if they're going to make a change that might break something in your service. So you'll need to start here with get a key. You might need to sign up for an account, and then eventually, after you've done that, it's a pretty quick process, but you'll have an API key, which is a big string that looks a lot like this. It's going to be a bunch of stuff like so. And so once you have the API key, you'll be able to start querying against their service and retrieving live data. And we'll be doing that next.